You see this tiny little box? All of your Spark hardware looping dreams are contained inside of it. What the hell am I talking about? We're going to find out together today, right here on GearGasms. Hi everybody, welcome to GearGasms. I'm your host, Alan Barnes. Today we have from our friends at XSonic. You remember them, the AirStat people, right? I've done a lot of XSonic videos on this channel. Well, now they have answered all of our prayers, at least those of us who are praying for a hardware looper. Now, why did you have to pray for a specific hardware looper for the Spark? I'm going to tell you in just a second. But first, if you're new to the channel, I'd like to ask you to like and subscribe. This channel is kind of like a box of yard sale crayons. They're all used, half of them are broken, a lot of them are covered in boogers. Celebrate mediocrity. I didn't find any boogers when I unboxed this, and I spare you the unboxing because it was just in a box, okay? Why is this so special? Why has this been waited for gosh, almost 4 years? I'll tell you why. Because if you use a normal looper with a Spark, like all modeling type amps, you pick a tone, you loop with that, and then if you change the tone on the amp, the loop changes to that tone with it. So you can't play like a clean loop and then a god-awful rock solo on top of it. You can now. Now, XSonic did send this to me for free, so that technically makes it a sponsored video. But let's talk about the magic of this pedal and how it works. On the back there are 3 inputs. There you can use a USB-C and hit with 5-volt power from like your power pack or a variety of other sources. You can use the 9-volt input, but that last big USB-C over there on the end, that is the magic that you hook to the back of your Spark amp. Now it has 2 inputs. That first input where you normally plug in a guitar, it's reserved for later use, perhaps another foot switch. So you still plug the guitar into the Spark. Over on the other side, that output is something that will feed a mono already summed signal to an external amp or speaker cabinet, powered speaker cabinet, or like I do through the effects return loop. Simple 1 button on the top. It does have a level control so you can turn up the relative volume of your loop. Now here's a caveat according to the XSonic website themselves. There is a range of Sparks that were manufactured in the second half of 2023 that apparently have a sampling rate of like 44.1 kilohertz. I don't know what the other ones have, but apparently that's no bueno with Positive Grid's own Windows ASIO drivers. So if you have one of those Sparks, this might not work. Almost any other amp that has a USB into the back of it, any other smart amp that can be used as like an interface, an audio interface. If it has that capability, I think we're going to also see later firmware updates that will allow us to use this, for example, with the Yamaha THR series. So now that we know what this is and how to use it, let's actually see it in action. We're screen recording the Spark, and I could sit here and change tones on the top of it. That's not going to, seeing is believing. Now, I'm going out of the headphone jack straight into the DAW for the Spark for this segment, but we're going to get to some live miking of Spark tones in the next segment. But for now, what we're going to do is just show you the basics. You remember when cell phones, the batteries just sucked ass and they didn't last and you had to buy all those power packs? We still got one, that little cylinder power pack. It is what is powering the pedal. Now you guys know how I am with loopers. Me and loopers have never been friends. So we'll start off with a simple segment. You'll notice there are no cables going into the looper itself. So let's say you want to jam on some Molly Hatchet and you ain't got 3 guitar players. That's the same problem Molly Hatchet has, being as they're all dead. So we'll summon them from the grave with this here loopy pedal. We'll just set up like a little rhythm bed and then we'll add another track. Now you see that blue light, it means it's ready. So me and timing, as far as when my foot comes on and off the pedal, it's never been good. Let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can stop that loop, and what I did there is like the main looper mistake that we all make. I think I waited too long, so there's dead air at the end of the loop, so it'll glitch when it comes back around. Let's start it again. Now it's just playing. Let's go get another tone. Now you'll notice something else. I switched to another tone. volume difference. This one's a big volume difference. You can do a couple of things. There's a level control down there on the looper, and also over here you can just turn it back a little bit in the app. So I'm going to start the loop again, and then while the loop is playing, if I hit the tap button again, it records. Let's find out what happens. Multi-layer loop. Molly Hatchet, back from the grave. Now I didn't record anything. I tapped it twice and I accidentally sent it into record mode. So I think we're good because I didn't do anything.
You suck!
All right, now I stopped it. You heard that? You're going round and round. So now I'm picking another tone. And it's so not right for this song, but I just want to prove a point. And let me get the looper back in that shot. So let's start that loop again, and then we'll see if we can ga on it. But you got to see, right? So I think I found a tone that's maybe a little bit better for it. Let's see if we can get her done. Tap, tap, to start that loop. Okay, I was recording over it, unfortunately, and you're about to see my one major dig on this pedal is, and hopefully they'll fix it in the future, firmware upgrade. And if you ever thought I was on the take,
Busted!
Here's your proof I'm not. We're gonna clear this loop. You're gonna hear the part of the loop. There's no way around it. You can't just stomp and hold in silence and kill the loop. I'll show you. I cleared it, but you heard a little bit of the loop. Now, the other thing this thing doesn't have yet is an undo redo loop function. And so hopefully that's coming in another firmware upgrade too. But you sort of get the drift of that. So let's go back and get something just gloriously clean, shine on crazy diamond clean. So let's do another real quick loop here, and I'll just play whatever's, okay? Just to show you again. We've cleared our loop. We'll hit that start button. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tap, tap, and then hold to kill it. Now, that torture is over. You got to see how you can loop and you can change tones. You got to hear my awful playing. You got to hear a 3-track loop. You got to hear a 2-track loop. Now we're going to have some fun. What's that other hole on the other side we talked about earlier? About to find out. It's not on camera anymore because you don't need to see it, but I got a cable coming out of that pedal. You saw that? It's going over to the Orange Crush on total clean, and we are on an acoustic voice over here on the Spark. It's glorious. No more crossover summing cables, no more danger, Will Robinson. Are you gonna blow up your amp? Or are you gonna, or is it, you try to use a regular cable and it sums itself and it sounds god awful like Aliens? No more of that. Just a straight guitar cable into the return of the Orange, the effects return. Clean channel, SM57 on that grow cloth. So you can just like get something going. I'll see if I can get this loop happening. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, there's that little gap at the end there where I go, as it went off. But we'll pretend that's not there, and we'll pick a nice little solo tone. So let's start that loop, the herky-jerky loop. And of course, we ain't gonna record over it. We'll just rock. What do you think of that? Not the playing, just the concept. So you can loop spark through a full amp speaker. You're not in the room with me, but this is such a different experience. How many videos have I done where I've tried to plug this spark into all kinds of different amps, all kinds of different ways? How many videos have I done where we've tried to loop? Well, now we got one thing that'll do both. Now, since I ain't much of a looper, I probably will use this a lot when I want to just crank the spark. Yeah, I mean, when you can just rock out with a tone like... What did we learn today? We learned that although we love the Spark Looper, it's not quite perfect. It doesn't have an undo, redo loop function. And of course, if you abort a loop in front of a live audience, you double tap and step on that pedal, they're going to hear a piece of that aborted loop. However, if you're aborting a loop in front of a live audience, they're probably already trying to tab out. We also learned that you can use that amp output to go to a powered speaker or the effects return loop of an amp, and it does not kill the speakers that are built into the Spark. And finally, if you're new to the channel, you saw how terribly I played when there's a looper running. I play pretty badly when there's a camera running, but when there's a camera and a looper, oh my God. As always, I thank you for the time that you spend with the channel. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. You got a few ratchet ass, government cheese eating Section 8 trailer park friends? Send them to GearGasms. And when those same people aren't busy dumpster diving behind Goodwill looking for clothes, perhaps they would look great in this summer's brand new and fresh GearGasms merchandise. There's a link in the description. Whatever you do in the next 7 days, don't tell Paul Gilbert about it. He's such a sweet person that no one has the heart to tell him that his signature model is hella ugly. Aww. But play more guitar. Watch less of this and keep coming back here week after week for more GearGasms.